Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Francis, and I'm going to talk about Deborah Sampson Gannett, commonly just known as Deborah Sampson. I ask that you excuse my voice. I'm a little hoarse. I've been sick. So Deborah Sampson was born on December 17th of 1760 in Plimpton, Massachusetts. And she is commonly known for being the first woman to disguise herself as a man so that she can partake in battle. And this was, of course, the Revolutionary War. So she was going to disguise herself and fight under the name of Robert Shirtleaf. So before I get into that, I'll talk a little bit about her background life. So growing up, Sampson, her family was poor, and what happened was her father actually abandoned her family. He was kind of had some disappointments in life, so he decided to take a voyage out to sea, and he never returned. So most assume that he probably died at sea. And this left her mother with seven children, including Samson. Samson was the oldest, and she really couldn't take care of them all on her own. So she needed to seek help from friends, family, and other acquaintances. So I believe Deborah Sampson, she lived with a friend or family for a few years, but she actually ended up becoming excuse me, she actually ended up becoming an indentured servant at around the age of 8 or 10. And she lived with the family of Jeremiah Thomas, and she served them. And here she learned a lot. She gained a lot of skills. She learned how to ride a horse, and she learned how to hunt. And she became strong. She also became really smart. She attended public school, and she learned a lot from the other children of the family because she just really liked to learn. And she actually even became a teacher for a little while before she went and enlisted herself in the army. So, and prior to this, she was also involved in uh, her church in Massachusetts, which is a Baptist church. Um, which they did have a idea about her disguising herself as a man, but I'll get into that. So around the age of 21, she decided that she would enlist in the Continental Army, and as I stated, she would use the name of Robert Shirtleaf as her pseudonym. So she wanted to fight in the war. She wanted to support her country, and of course, women couldn't do this. So she practiced acting like a man to make it believable, and she bound her chest down, and she was tall for a woman, so people would just believe that she was a short man. It was believed. And when she didn't listen to the army, she didn't have any facial hair, but men just believed, they made fun of her. They just believed she was a young man. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. But they just believed that she just didn't have any facial hair yet. So when she enlisted, she was actually in the 14th Regiment under Captain George Webb. And so they went on there. Her church actually did find out there was rumors that she was planning to disguise herself as a man, and so what they did was they excommunicated her from the church and kind of banned her. But she was going off to fight in the war anyway. So once she did get to New York, her first destination, she fought in a battle there, and she was actually wounded. Her leg was wounded, and she tried to mend this herself. Excuse me, because she didn't want anyone to find out her true identity. And because of this, her leg did not heal properly. And the regiment went on to Philadelphia. I'm not. She also became sick there, and she caught fever. I'm not sure if this had something to do with her leg, or if this was just another illness. But she was taken to the hospital, and that's when they did find out that she was a woman. So she did was honorably discharged at that time, and it was discreet, but she obviously had to be discharged. After this, she went back to her life in Massachusetts, and she married Benjamin Gannett. They had three children, and she went back to teaching. Her story was actually able to be told. Um, Author Herman Mann, he wrote about her life, and he kind of romanticized it, but still she was able to tell her story. She was able to travel to places like New England, New York, and give speeches, wear her uniform, and just tell about what she did. I'm sorry. Um, so actually later in life, she actually when she was discharged, that was around 1783. So later in life, she did become ill, and she was poor. Her family was poor, and um, gratefully, the government actually did provide her with a pension. This is around 1792, and even Paul Revere kind of supported her in 1804, and she received more money, a pension from the government. Sorry, and my voice is giving up. And she actually did die in 1827 at the age of 66, but her family still was able to receive support from the government. And to this day, there's actually a statue of her in Sharon, Massachusetts, where she did live at some point in her life, towards the end of her life, and just to dedicate to her heroism and what she did for her country. Thank you, and have a pleasant evening.